Hey guys, I'm Leonard and I run an interior design firm called LM Studio, and this is sort of a talking head video that I started doing just to document the process of my thoughts and findings over the years of running this studio, the last 5 years. So today I'm going to talk about the difference between an architect and interior design. So there are 5 points I'm going to look at. So the first one being the user experience. So the first thing about user experience is how every single person uses a space. It all boils back down to the layout, the type of material, the senses that you could sort of touch every single person when they are in your building, your space, or even a room. And it boils back down all the way to using a toilet. They all kind of come with very much similarities where we are all building for people. It's just how people interact with every single nooks and cranny that you've put together with thoughts and concepts where people could experience it themselves. The second one, the second point here is pace, the speed of a project. So an interior project runs from a year, 2 years. Sometimes it boils back down to less than a month. We've done a project at Genting Highlands where we design it within 3 weeks and we build it up in 25 days. So the entire process took us less than probably 50 days. There are retail projects, commercial projects that require much more intensity in terms of time, duration, and as compared to bungalow projects that we've done for almost 2 to 3 years. Sometimes we could kind of just put a ballpark figure out saying that the entire design process would take about 6 to 8 weeks. But in actual fact, sometimes it would take more than that. So if you were to spend more time designing a product and having the drawings all confirmed and signed off, chances are you will have the project management construction being done way more smoother. Now, the third point I'm looking at here is the learning curve. So the learning curve goes with the fourth point, which is a feedback loop. It shortens a lot. So I've done the project when I was an intern up till I fresh graduated from college and running the project as a project architect myself. And the entire process was extremely long, right? From building up the concept, the development order, the building plans, up to the construction details. And when it was being done at site, I had to look through every single details and issue site instruction. So the learning curve is there, but you come with many different processes and administrative works that kind of govern the entire project as a whole, just to make sure everything doesn't stray apart and it follows through a guideline and a timeline. Now, if you look at interior project, the feedback loop is extremely fast. So looking at the project that I mentioned just now that took us less than 60 days, you just come on fresh with ideas and concepts, and within 2 months, you would have already completed the entire project. Of course, with defects that you would kind of last through for another 1 or 2 months. But all in all, if you were to be a fresh grad coming into this project, learning from the seniors, you pretty much would have completed an entire project from A to Z, including client dealings, costing, and material selection. So that is the feedback loop that got me excited about all the time. So it's kind of like a dopamine hit that constantly comes over and over again. And after like 5 years, I realized that the jobs that we've done so far, none of them are the same. They are all very different, and there's always something new to learn from. So that sort of feedback loop kind of loops over and over again, and it kind of compounds over time. So I wouldn't say that you learn a whole lot more, but the learning curve is fun and the process restarts itself all the time. So that's part three and part four. Now, the fifth one, which is running the business itself. Well, because I run the business myself and I started off with figuring how to issue an invoice, purchase order, setting up a letter of appointment, and it just goes on, and every single day I just find something new, up until dealing with large corporate firms where they need so many different sort of supplementary contracts, and having to go through a couple of few different departments where it used to be just dealing with the client or the homeowner themselves, and now you got to deal with different departments. The entirety of running the business is very much different from the being the designer itself. If I were to be a designer, what's my end goal? Do I want to run a business? Do I want to open my studio? It always sounds so fancy, you know. When I was studying, I always realized, I always kind of imagine how my studio would look like. Would it be a nice island top? Would it be in like a plywood finish, marble? That's where I roll out my large drawings and start sketching ideas and whatnot. Then having this whiteboard. So everything kind of just pictured out in my head. But when it happens, it's so surreal that you just cannot believe it's happening. But these experiences kind of put together and make you realize that, hey, it's not just dreams. You got to put them to work and you're actually producing a product and a service for clients. All right. So it's no longer just running a college projects together that is so fun. Now, that being said, it really has to boil back down to the differences that you want being an architect or an interior designer. Architect, you could be running a business yourself. You could be a project architect. You could be also the designer who doesn't really care about the numbers or how the business actually runs. All you have to do is just meeting deadlines and making sure a concept actually fall through. On the other hand, as an interior designer, you got to do the same thing, right? So there's conceptual, there's whole other part of the profession that's exactly the same as an architect, where you got to figure out yourself. And end of the day, you should really find out that if a couple of few things that really jive with you, does it resonate with you? Are you a person who want to lead, looking at numbers, building, scaling a business, running the administrative part of things, making sure that marketing is being taken care of, client management is being taken care of? Do you care about the feedbacks? What are you going to do with the feedbacks? Are you constantly growing as a leader and making sure you want to run a team? So all this being put together, it really comes to points where you firstly want to be an architect or an interior designer. There are similarities, but it runs on a different scale and pace. Then you bring it to the next level. Do you want to run a business? Do you run a leadership team? Do you want to be a individual freelance designer? Because as a freelancer, you got to think about the process of business as well. And if business grows, you could choose to stay where you are running just 4 to 5 projects a year, or you want to run 30 to 40 projects a year. So let me know what you think about it. So I'm already 5 years into this process and I'm constantly learning and discovering new things. And this channel is part of the new adventure that I'm trying to do, because who knows, 5, 10 years down the road, I'm going to look back at these videos and say, hey, oh, these were my thought process when I was at that age. And hopefully I could learn a little bit from this, and hopefully you could learn something from it as well. So I'll catch you in the next one. See you.